Can you smell it?
No.
Okay.
It's off my plate.
Well,
You're gonna be like.
We're ready.
ready to go.
I mean, I can certainly ask Pat about it after.
You copied him when he reported last year.
Okay. Now call to order
Thank you.
the committee of the whole meeting for March 6th, 2023. The time is 7 p.m. Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Matheny?
Here.
Member Wyrick?
Here.
Member McLeister?
Here.
Member Warren?
Here.
Member Stroya?
Here.
Member Volt?
Here.
Member Orr is absent, 6 present.
Motion to excuse member Orr.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, start off with community and economic development. There.
Okay, we have discussed this previously. This is a proposal to reduce the period for non-conforming uses from inactive from 2 years to 12 months. It's gone to the planning commission, it's come back. And I'd like to have a motion, if there's no discussion, to schedule a public hearing for April 10th at 6:45.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, then the second item of business on this matter is to move it to council agenda. Are there any questions or comments at this time? Seeing none, then I'll make that motion to move it to ordinance 1623 to the council agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The other item from the planning commission is a proposal to phase out office building. We are going to reclassify 33 parcels. You have those in your packet, the description. The description is also contained in the legislation. Are there any questions or comments at this time? If there are none, I'll make a motion to establish a public hearing for this on April 10th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And being redundant, I'll make a motion to move this to the council agenda. This is ordinance 21-23.
Second.
All in favor?
I'll second that. All in favor?
I'm making a motion,
Aye.
sorry.
Motion carries. Okay.
Third item is the Tax Incentive Review Council is going to meet, and we need to send it ordinance that our sole CRA property is compliant with our regulation. Are there any questions or comments about that? If there are none, then I'll make a motion that we move this to item 3C on tonight's council agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to finance and property. Stephanie.
Okay, and I see Jim's here. Do you want to talk about anything regarding the opiate settlement and where we are at and what we need to do?
Yeah, so if you guys remember last year, we did an agreement to accept the opioid settlements from the One Ohio distributor, Janssen Settlements. This is just another one of those. It's mainly for the retail pharmacies, as you can see in a couple of the manufacturers, Teva and Allergen. We currently, year to date, from last year, have received 14,000 some, and so this would just be a separate approval of that, a different settlement. So we're just trying to approve to receive that money. So,
Okay. Is there an estimate of what we'll,
so yeah, we have no
Ever
idea
know,
what we're
right.
gonna receive, yeah. It's
Okay.
just, yeah, approving that.
same
Accept
scenario
it.
as last
Mhm.
year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I like it. 14,000 is good. And hope for that again. No other questions, I move to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Steph.
Okay, and then 4B, just as it says, a resolution strongly urging the Ohio governor and members of the Ohio General Assembly to restore the local government fund to pre-recession levels. And I noticed we were, under utilities, we were trying to push something else through the legislature, but Jim, again, can you talk about those
Yeah,
pre-recession levels?
So back, I guess a decade ago, they decreased the amount that municipalities receive in the local government funds. And so this is essentially pushing them, the more municipalities they get to approve this, they can push it through to the governor's desk and potentially increase the percentage. I think in the write-up, it says that currently what the municipalities receive is 1.6% of the total general fund, where it used to be 3.68% of the total general fund of the state. So we're just trying to get them to increase the percentage that they give out to municipalities and bring it back to a decade ago.
Any other questions? Daryl, have you been through much of those when people write in and try to get those things that are now gone?
I have.
I kind of think of them as the toll booth. As they pass the West Virginia Turnpike.
Yeah, it's about as effective as going through the West Virginia Trail.
Okay.
I regret to say that, well, let me just say this. The Ohio Municipal League has a fairly effective state house presence. Do its entreaties always fall favorably on the General Assembly's ears? But in this case, it's probably good to have expressed our opinion, so that way if the question ever comes up, well, I never heard from you, the answer is, well, we sent you a resolution. So we've done our part.
And it has increased every year since 2017, so it's not like it is decreasing currently, but it is, like I said, it is increasing every year. So the more we can get, the better.
All righty. No other questions? I move to adopt.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance and rules. John's not here, so Daryl.
If John were here, he would say, I want to draw your attention to the survey, which is on page 27 of your packet. A couple of noteworthy items on it. The first is that the front half of the survey, which is delineated by the line that's actually on page 28, is the standard set of questions that we have offered over the last 15 years. And it allows the community, the council, the administration to track shifts in opinion on these very fundamental issues before us. How basically how well do you rate our services? Are they satisfactory, et cetera? We've had particularly good luck last year in 21. This is done every 2 years, as you may know. Ben secured 1,214 surveys. And if you take our population at roughly 17.5, that's 7% response, which is pretty darn good. So it's a good gauge of kind of where our community sits on some of the bigger issues. But I would draw your attention also to the second page and well, before I do that, I want to come down to box 5, property code enforcement. We're really making a determined effort to enforce the property code, and we will see whether the residents support that, or at least the respondents support it. So I think it'll be pretty useful, and Ben has been working very hard. I will tell you, he's got some preliminary data on code enforcement and some other issues, and I think you'll find it when we get it up in front of us. I think you'll find it's quite fascinating. But then going to the second page, not only do we talk about how we communicate, and I think this is particularly on item 12, if you have followed our website and the communications available through that website, Ben's done a really good job of trying to get the word out through Sun, through an easily navigated website to find council agendas, etc., that are there. But we're going to continue to ask about ways in which people gather information about what we're doing. And then below the line, we have what I would consider policy issues. These are kind of the companion to our master plan. We talk about parks, etc. And I think the interest in the administration and council is to build upon the success of Dogwood. We have some additional opportunities coming up, particularly with Capley Park. So again, we want to go back and sample opinion on what people are looking for so we get it right the first time. And we can budget for it as well. Secure grants. We ask about a park levy, question 18. Is that something that you as a resident would support? And we allow people like choose the level of their support, which I think is great. And then I think probably one of the biggest sleeper questions is number 20. And that is, should the city encourage the Hoover West Factory's owner to tear it down? We've chased this for a considerable period of time. The question is, where does the community stand on that as we move through a negotiating period? So, are there any questions or comments about that? Ben, I think you're going to get the green light on this one. As long as I can get a motion in a second.
Actually, wait, real quick, I'm sorry, just to double check. So this is going to be, did I see May 15th is when we're going to start to put this out?
Yeah, so we typically do May 15th to August 14th, midnight August 14th.
Okay. And it goes out in the water bill like in the past, or?
Yeah, so it'll go live on our website on May 15th, and then it'll be out in the June water bill.
Perfect.
And that's just because of how the mailing time
Right.
works.
No, it makes sense.
You good, Jamie?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
I'm just curious.
Know what the Hoover West factory is, like, to, not that there's space to describe that here, but you're
Or
prepared to
not.
answer that, right? Like,
I may not,
okay,
and I think we'll have, take all these with kind of grain of salt.
yeah, okay.
Okay, what I'd like that is, if there aren't any other questions, editorial comments, thank you. I'll take a
Question.
good question. Fair. I'll take a motion and a second to move this item to 5A on our council agenda. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on to utilities, rubbish. Jamie?
All right, sit down because we have two items on the agenda this evening for the committee formerly known as rubbish. So the first item, just which this is going to be item number 6A on our agenda, just pretty much a boilerplate item, just getting chemicals for the plant. I don't think there's anything too hair-raising about that unless anybody to the left of me wants to chime in, but any questions or comments from all of you guys? Okay. So with that, I would move that we place this item 6A on the agenda tonight.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, item 2. Let me pull it up here. Or I guess it'd be technically item 6B is quite a bit more exciting. So I think we all at this point know that over at Arrowhead, we're forging ahead with having a new well field put in over there to hopefully get a better source of water for our water system. Through some diligent efforts internally, it has been determined that there is federal assistance available. So the total cost is looking to be about $2.25 million, and this would start sometime in 2024 with a completion date of the fall of 24. And we are seeking to get $500,000 in federal funding assistance. And this is just one of those things that we found it and we figured we might as well go for it and see if we can get it. So I don't know if Catherine, if you had any other comments on that?
No, pretty much covered.
All right, perfect. Any questions or comments from any of you guys? All right, with that, I would move that we put item 6B on the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor?
Second?
Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And let's entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, was this for them? Was it- Okay, now call to order the special council meeting of March 6th, 2023. The time is 7:19 p.m. Opening prayer. Jamie.
All right.
Please.
All right, let us pray. Holy One, known by many names and beyond all names, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of community. We ask your blessings on the people here in this room and those in the community not here tonight. Bless us as we do the work of our neighbors and guide us as always. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Volt, Member Shura,
Here.
Member Warren,
Here.
Member McLeister,
Here.
Member Wyatt,
Here.
Member Matheny,
Here.
Member Orr is absent, 6 present.
Motion to excuse member Orr.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Moving on to recognition of the public. At this time, members of the public wishing to address City Council may do so. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes. Comments shall be limited to legislative items appearing on tonight's agenda only. The rules for speaking and the speaker's time will appear on both TV screens. This will serve as the only warning for anyone in attendance. Any violation of the rules will result in ejection from the premises. Anybody wanting to address council tonight, please approach the podium.
Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. First, in order to avoid being an injection tonight and spoiling Mr. Chief's evening, I'm confused by your language tonight. You've referred a couple items to the council agenda. And knowing your propensity to throw it on the following meeting, is the CRA approval going to be thrown on there tonight? Because it's not on your printed agenda. Mr. Revolt said move 3C, which is this item, to the council agenda. So is it going to be put on tonight's council agenda?
Excuse me, may have misspoken. It should be item 6A.
Yes, and that was also what confused me.
That's what it is.
So you are moving it to the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Being safe, it's on the council agenda, so I don't get thrown out. I'd like to speak to that. The CRA that you've talked about is North Ridge Apartments. That was $1 million tax abatement that nobody at City Hall would ever acknowledge who approved it. $1 million for a 40-unit apartment complex. It was whittled down with, I guess, some negotiations with the school district to $500,000. But again, we have nobody at City Hall, mayor, council members, who would acknowledge how that abatement was given. So I just want to get it on the record. This is a tax abatement with no foundation legally, that nobody would stand up and acknowledge how it came into being. Thank you.
Agree.
Anyone else wanting to address public tonight? Okay, final call. Okay, moving on to new business. Can I have a motion and a second to suspend Council Rule 23 to allow for consideration of legislative numbers 24-2023, 25-2023, 26-2023, 28-2023, and 29-2023 without a committee report?
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Ben, would you please read the title of Ordinance 24-2023?
An ordinance continuing the Community Reinvestment Area Tax Incentive Agreement between the City of North Canton and 1303 to 1305 North Main Street and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Okay. Daryl.
Okay. We need to send this down to the county. Or it's, I believe it's the 14th, is that the date of the meeting?
Correct.
And so we're going to ask that this be adopted this evening, not only first reading, but also on emergency. As Mr. Osborne has pointed out, it is item 6A.
Mm-hmm. And this has been a part of the CRA for what, about 10 years now?
I believe it stems from 2016 or
Okay.
2015.
I stand corrected then. Okay.
And,
So still over 5
it
years,
is,
6 years.
It exists as a
And as a matter of
As a-
settlement,
as
right?
a legal settlement.
Yep.
As a result.
So there is legal basis for this,
Yes, and I would also note that
right or wrong, there is.
that one of the parties that was, in my humble opinion, that was
Mhm.
primarily responsible for
Mhm.
this matter is no longer with us.
That's exactly right. Are you looking for a motion?
Let me just say, and as long as they're complying with everything, there's nothing we can do.
That is-
legally.
Yes.
So,
Well, the important thing is this, there is an outstanding legal settlement that the
Right.
parties have
Right.
agreed to.
Right.
it's a legal
It's
obligation.
a legal obligation,
Mm-hmm.
but the suggestion that those who may have been party to this when unrecognized or unidentified is not true.
Right.
They are no longer with us.
I was gonna say, yes. So again, looking for a motion,
I seek a motion.
I will give you the said motion.
I'll make
Oh,
that
I'll
second
give you a motion to move ordinance, or
to adopt.
to adopt ordinance 24, 2023.
Now second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Thank
carries. I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings.
The vote moves.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 24-2023 under suspension of the rules?
The vote moves.
Sorry, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And moving on to 6B, Derek. Oh, sorry, Stephanie.
Okay.
Tricky.
Scared.
We did talk about this in the meeting, and this is just our request. Putting it on record is really all we're doing, is to put those pre-recession levels back into our government fund. And we can say that we did that. So I move to adopt.
Need to read it first.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, Ben, could you read the
Got
title? Sorry.
excited.
A resolution strongly urging the Ohio governor and members of the Ohio General Assembly to restore the local government fund to pre-recession levels.
I move to adopt.
The vote seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
The vote moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 25-2023 under suspension of the rules?
Motion to adopt resolution 25, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Ben, would you please read the title of resolution 26, 2023?
A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton to execute the participation agreement for the manufacturers Teva and Allergen and the pharmacies CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart regarding the national opioid settlement agreements available at nationalopioidsettlement.com and declaring the same to be an emergency.
We have discussed this partially because we already received our first payment, so this would possibly be a second payment. We're unsure of the amount, but this allows us to receive that. If there are no other questions, I move to adopt.
The vote
Second.
seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
The vote
So,
moves.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 26-2023 under suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 28-2023?
An ordinance authorizing the Director of Administration of the City of North Canton to advertise and receive bids according to specifications now on file in the Director's office for the purchase of water treatment plant chemicals for use by the city's drinking water treatment plant, and authorizing the mayor, upon Board of Control approval, to enter into a contract for the purchase of said chemicals and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Jamie?
All right. Well, we just talked about this a little bit ago. I don't know if there's anything else to add, or I would move that we adopt.
The vote seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
Motion to suspend.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 28-2023 under suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben, could you please read the title of resolution 29-2023?
A resolution in support of the congressionally directed spending request of the city of North Canton, Ohio to fund the Arrowhead Water Well project.
Okay, Jamie from the Rubbish Committee.
All right, well, we, again, discussed this a little bit earlier. This is seeking federal funding or federal assistance through a grant for this project. Again, I don't know if there's anything else to add. All right, then I, at this point, would move that we adopt Resolution 29-2023.
Both seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 29-2023 under suspension of the rules?
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?